Hello kitty cats! Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first ever YouTube and I'm here to discuss the Morphe by Jeffree Star that I just purchased today. So this is my newest product and I wanted to do an unboxing with you guys. It's a little bit of a bio of him. I gotta say, this is a really cool palette because it's nice and big and it's not very expensive for how many colors you actually get in there. So I would recommend it for that. Ooh. So here's all the colors that you get with the palette. I think today I'm going to try to focus on creating a shimmery look with a little bit of hot pink. So I'll probably be using the Self-Made and the Millions for my colors, as well as a little bit of the Mocha color as well. So let's get started. Alright, so first I'm going to start by doing my primer because primer to me is the most essential part of doing your makeup, otherwise it does not look smooth. Do a little link in the bio. Just slide it everywhere on my face. Make sure it's nicely, evenly applied. And currently what I'm using for my foundation is for the Smashbox. It is a Studio Skin 15-hour wear and it's very hydrating. I'm using the shade 2.18. in light medium with a neutral undertone as well. Neutral undertone. I usually put my makeup like on my hand and then distribute it everywhere. And the primer makes it slide really nice and evenly. In case you are interested in my brush as well, this one is going to be from Sephora and it's a Pro Foundation and it's 47. Number 47. Also, if you need like a little extra coverage by dabbing your makeup brush, it helps you cover those little blemish spots a little better. The product that I've been using for my concealer is from Tarte. And I really like it because it does feel that it has such a good coverage. This one is going to be in the neutral shade as well. And I'm just blending this in with my beauty blender. It's also from Tarte as well. So today I actually am doing this video because I had class like usual, but my class was canceled. So instead of going to school, I decided I would actually make my first YouTube video since I always have people who ask me about my makeup, but I never had the opportunity to share, which is why I wanted to start now. And yeah, I woke up, I made a delicious vegan smoothie. If you are interested in the recipe, I do have an Instagram for it and I'll put the link below. And yeah, has strawberries and bananas, and it was really good. But other than that, there wasn't too much happening. And you guys, as you get to know me, you'll realize that I have a baby kitten and she's about 4 months. So if you ever see her running across here, don't freak out. It's not a ghost, it's just my baby kitten. So next, what I like to do is actually set my foundation and my concealer. I've been using this product right here. It's from Becca. And it's a really good setting powder. This setting powder is like my favorite because it's super hydrating. And yeah, you just use a little bit and it goes a long way. Setting powders are my favorite because it's what makes your makeup last longer, and it makes your face also not look as sticky. So that's why I like to use it every single time. Until I started using it, I didn't realize that what a big difference it makes. So now I use it every single time. Next, I'm going to move to my eyebrows, and what I've been using for my eyebrows for a few months now actually is from Benefit. It's going to be this eyebrow pencil. It does come in different shades and colors, and I feel like this one is probably my favorite. It's in shade number 4, but it's my favorite because it's so, it slides on so easily. So compared to other eyebrow pencils I've used that tend to be a little bit dry, this one is just works amazing. It slides on so smoothly. I always start by like brushing on my eyebrows, and I actually just use this for the outline of my eyebrows, and then I fill in the rest with Anastasia. So eyebrows to me have seriously been one of the hardest things to learn how to do because I have never really had experience learning how to do makeup other than just having to do it on my own. So this is one thing that I've struggled with for years, and this is just how I like to do mine. I feel like it's the easiest way, and it's also natural. I tend to actually leave like the edge right here bare, and then I fill it in at the end because otherwise it looks like your eyebrows are like way too like thick and almost fake looking. So my suggestion would be just to like get from here, like this area and out, and then to fill in the rest with the gel. And there's like different colors as well, but the one I've been using is from Anastasia, and it's in a shade that apparently doesn't say it on there, but oh, so it's gonna be in chocolate. So this is the one that I use. And yeah, it's been my go-to for a few years now. I also do use the same brush from her as well. So the eyebrow brush that she has, it does come with an eyebrow brusher as well on the end, but I actually use the one that comes with like my other brush. So you can decide what you like better. I like to take a little bit of it and actually like scrub it on my lid, and that way I don't feel like I'm getting too much product and I know exactly how much is on it. But I like just kind of like scrubbing it back and forth like that. So yeah, I just like put a little bit on there, and then I fill up my eyebrow with it. So yeah, it's just such a big difference when you actually do the outline to it and then fill it in. It becomes a little bit easier to maneuver. That way you're not outlining it with also the gel. It doesn't look as harsh, I feel. And this is where like it looks a little bit like open at the end, but what I like to do is like I take the leftover for my brush and actually just brush it up as if it was like little hairs. So I just kind of go up here, and then it looks a little more natural that way. Of course, I like always go in after too to make sure it doesn't look too uneven by actually putting concealer on it, and it makes it look a lot more shaped. So I would say that looks pretty good. I'm going to focus on the other one now. And just do the same repeat over here. And that looks pretty good to me. Yeah, so I did have an accident a few years back, and I guess I've been having a lot of issues with trying to figure out how to like work around the accident that I had and the little scar I left on my eyebrow here. So I found that this method actually really helps with the scarring, and it makes it almost look like it's not really there. So I hope this helps you if you have ever had any scarring or anything like that, especially on your eyebrow like mine. So what I actually do is that I put my eyebrow gel on my clay, and then I actually make sure that specifically that spot I have it really shaded in, because it tends to actually not have any hair from the accident. So I go ahead and like fill it in really good, more than any other part of my eyebrow, since it's the one that needs the most color in it, like so. And I feel like the thing that really makes it look better is actually once I go ahead and do the concealing around it. So for my concealing, I just grab a brush that I have from e.l.f. Looks like this, and I go ahead and take this and actually use the same concealer once again from Tarte, which is my favorite, and I go around my eyebrow like so. And this actually makes my eyebrows look so much better. Just go ahead and outline all of them like so. I feel like without this stuff, my eyebrows never look good enough. Go back to here. The only reason why I did that is because I grabbed a little too much, so I was actually trying to use some of the excess for my other eyebrow. I'll usually line it like so. Going around the entire eyebrow to get rid of any imperfections. There we go. See, I feel like that just makes my eyebrow look just so much more crisp and exact and perfect. I'm actually going to go in a little bit here because I feel like I didn't. There we go. Felt like I didn't really get that spot. So yeah, I do that, and I'm going to come into the other side. I actually like to dip my brush right in here. I feel like it's a little better than having to do it over again and taking the whole thing out. I always make sure to go ahead and do my entire under eye really concealed. Have you ever run out of eye primer? You can actually use concealer as well to have it as your base, and I tend to actually do that because I feel it actually works a little better, in my opinion, to use it with concealer, since the concealer is really nice and covering for the eyes, just like that. So yeah, I feel like this one already, you can tell that it's just so much more accented. And I'm going to continue to go in. all the way in. Sorry, I had a little fuzzy there. Make sure it all looks nice and even. And so now that we have that really nice and concealed, I'm going to go ahead and move into the upper side of my eyebrow here. There we go. Feeling pretty good about that. I do feel like sometimes I do have to make these a little bit more even by doing this, and it just makes them more even because I really want this one to look like that one. So we're gonna go back in and just make sure that they're both the same height and that one of them doesn't look higher than the other, like so. If you ever feel like you have a little bit extra on one compared to the other, then you can always go ahead and add more. Feeling a little better about that. Make sure that they both look similar. Ta-da! I'm going to just go ahead and take my blender, take a little bit more from that one, make it look a little more natural. Okay, I feel like that looks a lot better. Make sure to conceal the bottom again so it looks nice and square. After this, I always set my eye with a little bit of setting gel for my eyebrows, which makes them like stay in place. So the one that I've been using lately, it's from e.l.f. It's going to be a clear gel for your eyebrows, so it's almost like mascara for your eyebrows. It tends to just keep them in place, like I said, and it's something that I recently got into and before did not use, but after I started, it just made such a big difference. Right on the eyebrow. For the moment, I've been waiting for time to go into a beautiful palette. Like I was saying, these colors are absolutely bright and amazing. I do love how pigmented these colors are. They do feel amazing. So the color that I wanted to start with, first we're going to do a base. So let's go ahead and taste out the base. The base is going to be 1985. Right on this palette, and 1985 is this one right here, and that is so nice and creamy. Like, yeah, just by like I said, if you ever run out, I tend to actually use this for my eyes, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit of concealer and put this as my base for today since I don't have some current eye primer. Just going to start by rubbing it all over my eye, like so. Make sure to get it nice and even everywhere. Bring it all the way to your eyebrow bone and outline. That looks very good. And then we're going to go into the other eye and make sure it blends evenly everywhere. Like so. And we got our eyes nice and outlined like so. We will set them in a little little bit of setting powder. I'm going to use a little bit of a smaller brush this time. And I'm using just the same exact translucent powder from earlier, the Becca one that I've been using. Just go ahead and set that really good. And set this really good. One step that will help you out a lot with like the fallout from your eyeshadow too will be to actually set your eyes with translucent powder underneath as well. So I like to take my brush and get quite a bit of translucent powder on there and just dab it right underneath my eyes like so, and this will really help with the fallout. Just dab quite a bit on there. So now that I have quite a bit on there, I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyeshadow. So I always like to start off by using a really fluffy brush, because I feel that fluffier brushes actually help the color spread more evenly. So this one is a Sephora brush. It's from the POREfessional kit. As you can tell, the top of it is a little bit more fluffy than something in comparison to this, which is just a little bit more like edgy, which makes it a little bit easier to do like eyeshadow in the creases. But this one is just so fluffy, it'll make it easier to distribute amongst the whole eye. So this would be my go-to. And like I said, I'm going to take that 1985 color. Put it on the packer really nice and full all over the eye there. And I already did this one, but just make sure it's all nice in there. After I do that, I am going to move into this color right here. It's called Made. So nice and thick. I love it. You hardly need anything at all for it. For that pink eyeshadow, I would definitely recommend using something more angled like this. It's actually going to be from Tarte, the one that I'm using personally. And like you can tell, like this is what happens when you use a bigger brush. It actually made it a little bit too spread out everywhere. I'm going to use a blender anyway, method to blend that out, but I would definitely recommend starting with something like this to begin, so you don't have to have an accident like this and worry about way too much product everywhere in your eye rather than just in the center crease of your eye. So definitely go with a smaller brush. Yes, that looks a lot better. There we go. What I like to do is actually add extra color on the edges anyway, because I like to go back out and make a really crease right here later. So by doing the excess, you have more of a stretch and you didn't accidentally not put enough. And it's okay to get a little messier on the bottom because we're gonna go in and fill it anyway. So right now I have excess on here, but then I also have a little too much here. So what I'm gonna do is actually go in and conceal it up again, and that's where we're gonna use the next color on my mind, which is Millions. It's gonna be the really sparkly one on the kit, like right here. Super, super glimmery. I hope you guys can see that, but like right where it bends, and that's where I like cut it in. So I do that by getting some concealer, putting it on my brush, and going right back in. This brush is the e.l.f. one that I was using for my eyebrows as well. By doing this extra step right in between, you actually ensure that like the eyeshadow you're gonna put right on top is like super bright, because all the color is not getting blended with all the other separate colors you've been adding in your eyes. So it actually makes it like stand out so much more because there is a neutral base rather than like pink, for example. So next I'm gonna be using a more flat brush like so. This one will make it a little bit easier to be able to get the glitters. Hi baby! In case you guys are curious, I do have my little baby kitten. She is so playful. So we're gonna go in with that color again that I was mentioning earlier. The sparkly one. It's called Millions. I can see why it definitely looks like $1,000,000. It's really, really creamy too. So a little bit goes a long way. Distribute that all over my eye like so. I would definitely recommend using just a little bit of this because it is really creamy. Ooh. Okay, that looks perfect. Now with that same brush that I used for the hot pink, I'm actually going to go back in, and instead of using the hot pink, I'm going to be using the color Mogul, which is this purple one right here, and this will make it so that my crease is a little bit darker than the rest of my eyeshadow. This actually will help too, so that you can make everything that wasn't perfect like blend in a little better, and I'm actually going to be putting it on the outer corner of my eye as well. Not too much fallout with any of these shadows as well. They're pretty well built. I do want to be able to actually make the pink blend in with the hot pink, so I am going to layer these eyeshadows quite a little bit on top of each other like so. And we're gonna go ahead, take a little bit more of the same color and stretch it out on the other eye as well. Make sure to keep blending and blending and blending, because blending is the most important part to making sure that any of these look amazing. So we're just gonna keep blending and blending and blending. And I always go back and forth between my two eyes because I feel it's a little bit easier to see like what it is that I am lacking, like if one eye looks a little more full than the other, or if the angles look bad. Once I have my eyeshadow all down and perfect like this, I like to go ahead and actually do an even darker crease in the middle. I think I'm going to be using the Hi Dude by the palette, which is this dark brown right here. And I'm going to grab a crease brush. My crease brush is also from Tarte. This is probably my favorite palette because it has so many good brushes. So I'm actually going to be getting that Hi Dude color, putting it right into my crease. Really good, and this is going to make it so all my eyeshadow finally has even more depth than it did before. I'm gonna put it towards the inner part of my eye, and look at all that depth now. There's like so many colors going on, but it looks good. We're gonna be going into the other eye now with that same darker color, making sure to get a nice and dark crease, and like so. Now we're talking. And if you ever like feel like you accidentally grabbed a little bit too much, you can just go right back in with your other color, like the gold that I had, the $1,000,000, the millions, and I'm actually just using it to like re-establish how bright this color is, like so. Okay, so I feel like that looks really good. Now I will be going in with another brush that's completely clean, and I'm going to be using this for blending so it doesn't look too dramatic. And I'm going to use it everywhere like so. Just going to make sure that like nothing looks too overwhelming. Everything looks blended nicely, properly. Just bring it everywhere around your eye like so. And then drop it in once you get the other parts blended, because it will get dirtier as you go in. So try to keep the blending of the no eyeshadow up top, just like that. And then what I like to do is actually clear all of this up. I always wet these, by the way. Always wet them. They work better wet. And good to go. And the last thing is that I'm actually going to grab my Sephora brush, and it's going to be a really thin pointed one. And I'm going to grab that darker brown and a little bit of that purple. Just put it right on the bottom of my eye. Bring it up into my other top layer like so, and that's gonna give me like a cat eye.
I finally got my shoes.
Yay! Looks pretty good. The last thing.
So maybe I'll film my unboxing.
Yay! And then after all of that, I go in with my eyelash curler. This one is from Tweezerman. Curl my eyelashes. actually never use falsies too, just because my eyelashes are already really long and I honestly don't know how to put them on. So I always just use an eyelash curler and then mascara. But you know, my favorite right now is one that I don't have currently. So I have been using the Ciate London, and it's the Wonderland mascara. It actually works so good, so I would recommend it. Even if you have like not really thick eyelashes, this works so good. Alright, perfect. Once I have all of that done, I go back in and take all the excess off, just like so. The last thing I did want to share with you guys is how I do my bronzer. I actually use Hoola Benefit, which is a fairly popular brand. So I like to take it, apply a generous amount on my brush. This one is from Tarte. I go right into my cheekbones, and I actually do the weird like ducky face thing just to make sure that I can see my cheekbones, because honestly you can't see them. So if you don't have any, this will help. I like to like outline them and then go in darker. I'll do circular motions too. Get a little more. Another thing is that in order to make it look more natural, I put it on my eyebrow top. I mean like my forehead, like just up top, not down here. Up here, not down here. And I actually wrap it around my face, kind of like a heart in a way. All the way around. Circular motions, like I said, work the best. Just like that. And for my highlighter, I've been using the NYX Duo Chromatic. The NYX Duo Chromatic. It works out really good. It honestly is so bright. So this is what it looks like. I've been using the e.l.f. brush as well for my contour. And I just go right in. And I've been using like this e.l.f. this e.l.f. brush. It's a little bit more easy to work with than like a bigger brush. And take a generous amount of the highlighter. It's my favorite part. Make sure that you put it on the ends of your cheekbones, right on top, so you don't put any on your eyeshadow area or like your under eye, like that's bad. And it'll give you a killer highlight. Just like so. I don't bring it in too far. And then I always dab a little bit on my nose as well, just on the tip. That way. a little more, put a little more on right there. After this, that is my whole entire look, and then I set it with the Fix Lavender scent from MAC Pre and Prime. Just spray a generous amount. And that is my makeup look for the day. So make sure it dries really good so your makeup is set for the day. And yeah, that's my first take of the Morphe Jeffree Star palette, which I love and recommend. But seriously, this is a really pixelized good palette, so I would recommend trying it. Thank you so much for joining me for my very first ever YouTube video. If you like what you see, go ahead and click like and subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye, kitty cats.
I can see you looking at me. Yeah, my eyes are open wide. So you want me to set you free? Take a walk with me outside. Tell me everything about you. Yeah, 'cause I really wanna know. You can ride with me forever.
This is my baby. Say hi, baby. So she is 4 months. Precious baby. She looks like a little bobcat.